Shalom, friends. Akiva Gersh here. Fun fact about Israel. Israel has a single date tree that is protected by a security fence and a security camera. Why so much protection? The story goes back 2,000 years ago to the story of Masada. Masada is a mountain in the middle of the Judean desert, right on the shores of the Dead Sea. And during the Second Temple times, and specifically the Great Revolt against the Romans, Jews were living on top of this mountain. It was built by King Herod as a fortress, but even more than a fortress, it was like a spa in the middle of the desert. He liked living nicely, and he felt if I ever have to go there, I want it to be very nice. There were swimming pools there, bathhouses, the works, palaces, and an incredible thing that he built there, especially in the middle of the desert. Anyway, Jews took over that Roman fortress during the Great Revolt. That was between 66 and 70. And after the Jews lost the Great Revolt to the Romans and Jerusalem was destroyed, they continued to live there for a few more years until the Romans came, surrounded the mountain, and defeated the Jews there. It's a whole story into itself. We won't go into those details right now, but basically what the Jews had there stayed there. And King Herod himself had built these very, very long storehouses for food and weapons and all kinds of things. And he kept food there in case he had to be there for many, many years. Well, some of the food that he brought there, and that was there, were dates. And what happened? Centuries and centuries go by, almost 2,000 years. Modern state of Israel comes to life, is birthed. And in the mid-1960s, there are excavations there. There are archaeological excavations on top of Masada, led by Yigal Yadin, Israel's most famous archaeologist. And amongst many other incredible things that he found there, he found date seeds, dozens of date seeds. Now the big question was, can they come back to life? Can they germinate? Can they be planted and turn into a tree again? Well, that wasn't for him to discover. That wasn't his field, but he gave it to botanists. And they worked with these seeds and they tried to get them to germinate. And eventually some of them did. Using all kinds of modern methods and techniques, they got some of these ancient seeds to germinate. Can you imagine this little date seed, dry, hard from 2,000 years ago, sprouting a little sprout? Well, that's exactly what happened. They took care of it, great care of it. Eventually, they planted it into the ground on a kibbutz in the very south of Israel called Kibbutz Ketorah. And it was growing. It's unbelievable. Here, this 2,000-year-old seed is giving life, is giving birth to a new tree again. And it was such an important and special tree that they wanted to protect it, take care of it, make sure nobody, messed with it. And they put a security fence around it with a security camera on it 24/7. You can go there, you can visit. I've seen it many times myself. The name of the tree, they give the tree a name, is Methuselah, right? Or Methushelach in Hebrew, named after the oldest person mentioned in the Hebrew Bible who lived to 969 years old. But the story doesn't stop there, because then you want to know, well, how do the dates that come from this tree taste? Well, unfortunately, Methuselah is a male tree, didn't produce any fruit. So they did some cross-pollination between it and another tree that came from a seed from Qumran, just down the road from Masada, also very, very old, from ancient times. They sprouted that as well. They did cross-pollination. And this other tree that was pollinated by Methuselah, the oldest tree, from Masada, gave birth to dates, and people got to try them. It was a very, very special day. It took place just a couple of years ago, and people were asked, "What do they taste like? What do they taste like?" And specifically, one of the botanists who worked on this project, her name is Ellen Soloway, she said, "You know what? I like these dates better than the ones we have today." She felt like the ones today are too sticky and sweet. This one is a bit drier, a bit softer, and has that nice honey aftertaste, right? Which reminds us of how Israel is described in the Hebrew Bible, a land of milk and honey. Now, the milk is not cow milk, it's goat milk. Some people actually say it's fruit, not animal milk at all. But the honey, for sure, everyone agrees, is not bee honey. Right? The honey of the land of Israel is date honey, right? And so it's amazing that we're living in a time of great wonders and miracles, including a date seed from 2,000 years ago coming back to life and being able to produce fruit once again.